Hello and welcome back to Thomas's Moustache. Today I thought we would do something different, which is to read some poetry together. I have here my book, The Dream Songs. It's not my written book, it's the book I own. This is by John Berryman. Now I've known about the Dream Songs for a fair time. I had to order this book specially from Amazon because Book Depository closed down. You find some books that you just find them too late, or you decide to buy them too late, right? With with the Book Depository, I just think that it would have been better for me to just spend more, buy more, because the opportunity's gone now. So I order a lot less books. My last Book Depository order was about 40 books. And since then, I think I bought about 9 books. So that's, 1-2 years now. Unfortunate. But The Dream Songs is probably John Berryman's best-known works. This is the entire collection, which is about 400 poems. You can get his Dream Songs in smaller collections, but I just think, why not get the whole thing, right? John Berryman, very well known for his craft. John Berryman was a very talented poet, and the Dream Songs is well known for being grammatically curious, I would say. The grammar that he chooses is unique, and the structure of his sentences and of his lines, it's difficult to replicate because it's hard to understand his rules. But the poetry that he writes has an incredible flow. So grammatically it may be strange, but the grammar itself and the layout adds to the flow of the poem. For me, I generally, when I write my poetry, I care a lot about, of course, the meaning of the poem, but also about the look of the poem, and less about how it reads out loud. I'm not very good at rhythm and flow, so, well, in terms of spoken language, when I'm reading something, or, I'm not very musically inclined, so I care a lot about the look of it and the meaning of it. But John Berryman was a master of the flow, how it sounds. One could say that he was influenced by the Shakespearean style of wording, where everything sounds so well constructed, no matter what's said. So I thought that we would read a little bit together as a sort of poetry, what would you call poetry read. Unfortunately, I won't read any of my own poetry for a little while because I am trying to get it published. So I want to keep it a secret. But once I'm closer to that, and I was talking to my friend Biblio on YouTube comments section, and of course I would consider self-publishing in the future. But I think that I should try the more traditional publishing first, and then if I get too tired out, because I've been at it for about half a year now, so there's still a little bit more patience left in me. But of course I want it to be published, that's the main thing. So I will probably go the self-publishing route. Anyways, shall we begin? It's getting hot. I don't know what's going on here. Must be the position of the sun is changing. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll start on poem number 73. John Berryman did not name every poem. Generally, each poem here just has a number. Let's see here. The taxi makes the vegetables fly. Dozo kudasai, I have him wait. Past the bright lake up into the temple, shoes off and my right leg swings me left. I do survive, beside the garden I came 7,000 miles the other way. Supplied of engines all to see, differ them photographs, plans lie. How big is it? Auster, a sea rectangular, of sand by the oiled mud wall. And the sand is not quite white, granite sand, gray. From nowhere can one see all the stones, but helicopters or a Brooklyn reproduction will fix that. And the 15 changeless stones in their 5 worlds, with a shelving of moving moss, stand me the thought of the ancient maker priest. Elsewhere occurs, I remembers, loss. Through awes and weathers, neither is increased. Nor did one blow of all his stone in sand thought die. That's a good one. I'm not very good at reading out loud, but I'll make an exception. Poem 74. Henry hates the world. What the world to Henry did will not bear thought. Feeling no pain, Henry stabbed his arm and wrote a letter, explaining how bad it had been in this world. Old Yellow, in a gown, might have made a difference, these lower beauties. And Chartreuse could have mattered. Kyoto, Toledo, Benares, the holy cities, and Cambridge shimmering do not make up for, well, the horror of unlove. Nor south from Paris, driving in the spring to Siena and on. Pulling together Henry, somber Henry, woofed at things. Spry disappointments of men and vicing adorable children, miserable women. Henry mastered Henry, tasting all the secret bits of life. Oh, it's getting hot. I think the sun is certainly shifting. You know, you wouldn't believe how quickly the sun can move through the sky throughout the year. I have a motorcycle, and for a very short amount of time, the sun just reflected perfectly in the mirrors to make me turn it around completely. But, you know, it just passed right over, and it's incredible just how quickly the sun can shift positions. My garden plants are seeing the effects, you could say. So I gotta keep wiping myself down. It's okay. It's more the heat from the day itself has permeated into the house. It's not necessarily getting hotter outside. I think it's more just the house is keeping more of that heat, which usually happens a bit later. Shall we continue? Poem 75. Turning it over, considering, like a madman, Henry put forth a book. No harm resulted from this. Neither the menstruating stars nor man was moved at once. Bear dogs drew closer for a second look and performed their friendly operations there. Refreshed, the bark rejoiced. Seasons went and came. Leaves fell, but only a few. Something remarkable about this. Unshedding, bulky, bold, proud, blue-green, moist. Thing made by savage and thoughtful, striving Henry began to strike the passers from despair. so that sore on their shoulders old men hoisted 6-foot sons, and polished women called small girls to dream a while toward the flashing and bursting tree. 76. Nothing very bad happened to me lately. How you explain that? I explain that, Mr. Bones. Terms o' your bafflin', odd sobriety. Sober as man can get, no girls, no telephones. What could happen bad to Mr. Bones? If life is a handkerchief sandwich, in a modesty of death I join my father, who dares so long agone leave me, a bullet on a concrete stoop, close by a smothering southern sea, spread-eagled on an island by my knee. You is from hunger, Mr. Bones. I offer you this handkerchief. Now set your left foot by my right foot, shoulder to shoulder, all this jazz, arm in arm by the beautiful sea. Hum a little, Mr. Bones. I saw nobody coming, so I went instead. I think this will be the last poem, as this is the last part of this particular chapter or section. Poem 77. Seedy Henry rose up shy in the world, and shaved, and swung his barbells, duded Henry up, and PA'd poor thousands of persons on topics of grand moment to Henry, to those less and none. With a book of his in either hand, he is stripped down to move on. Come away, Mr. Bones. Henry is tired of the winter, and haircuts, and squeamish, comfy, ruin-prone, proud national mind, and spring in the city so-called. Henry likes fall. He would be prepared to live in a world of fall forever. Impenitent Henry. But the snows and summers grieve and dream. These fierce and airy occupations and love rave away so many of Henry's years. It is a wonder that within each hand, one of his own mad books and all, ancient fires for eyes, his head full and his heart full. He's making ready to move on. Okay, well, as you can see, I'm not the best poetry reader. I'm not the best reader out loud in general. I never was good. I'm not going to pretend like it's a development. I just never was great at reading out loud. The mind gets ahead of you, or the mind and the eyes sort of have different thoughts. But I hope that you at least sort of enjoyed it. I mean, you'd enjoy it more if you bought the book yourself and read it, I'm sure, because I'm definitely not the guy to read audiobooks for people, in their cars or at work or on a bike ride. I'm not that kind of guy who reads books for audio tapes, but I just think that, I like poetry, and I'm just a regular guy. You go on YouTube or whatever social media, and you see perfect people who do things perfectly. And I must admit, I've never wanted to pretend that I'm perfect. I'm a regular person, and I hope that that's refreshing to some people. Because I know it's all fake anyway, 1,000 takes for the perfect read or whatever. I'm just a regular guy. I do things first take and then I move on. Yeah, hopefully you like it. I try to be real, a real guy. And I think that's why we get along very well. My subscribers and I, my viewers and I, is that I'm not ashamed of making mistakes. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And we will certainly catch up again soon. Until next time, I'll say toodaloo.